Hong Kong approves Bitcoin ETF. Stocks and crypto are already bouncing back after the weekend. We can see that it really ended up being kind of a nothing burger weekend news unless there's some sort of retaliation or further development of the situation. But for now, things are looking up. We've got a new spot Bitcoin ETF open up in Hong Kong. Bitcoin is moving on up off of that bottom that it made over the weekend on Saturday and a little, came up a bit on Sunday. Today, if we look at the chart here, came right up to the bottom of this ascending channel and stopped there. So look at the TA just happening in real time right here, coming up to that trend line, stopping. We might come down a little tiny bit and then move our way up through that again. Let's take a look at the hourly actually and see how it stopped there. Oh yeah, I totally see this actually probably coming back up because, oh, perfect. You know how I keep talking about those controlled selling or buying patterns? There's one right there. That was a very controlled selling pattern on 5 p.m. yesterday until 9 p.m. yesterday, and then we broke out on one candle, and then the next candle opened up out, above that other candle and just took off from there. Looks like we had another like more of a wild selling sort of channel there trying to throw you off. I mean, there was another one right down here. Let's just move this. Boom. Lives perfectly inside of that, right? This is really just TA happening as we look at it. Going down, controlled, and then this one was actually a big one, so you would have had to go into smaller time frames to really see that one play out. So, oh wow, even smaller than 15 minutes. You would have had to check that one out on a 5-minute time frame. Wow, even more so than a 5-minute time frame. You would have had to go down even lower to see that thing happen up. And that happened in 10 minutes. We went up from 63,000 all the way up to 65,000. It's a $2,000 move. But you can definitely see, I hope, after watching this channel long enough to start to notice these buying and selling channels that come up in charts that kind of give you a hint as what's going to happen next, especially as we get more granular on that. But Bitcoin's up 1% today. We are struggling just below that $67,000 mark, which is basically where we entered the, just below where we were before all this happened on Friday. Honestly, I mean, let's see, it was Wednesday, we were as low as 67,000. So we're like just a little tiny move away from getting back into those areas here. Let's see what happened with the Bitcoin miners as a result. So we've got a new ETF that came out today. Bitcoin's up 1%. CleanSpark has been between 1.2 and 3% up today. We are currently slightly above $15. We need to hold above that $15 mark. Let's see if in the next few days, if we can get back up and above this 1584 mark and reclaim some of that lost ground over the weekend. So that's really what's going on here. We're still getting a bottom signal on the VIX. We're still very, very low on the RSI. We're at 34. However, the volume, if you can see the volume bars here, they're coming in very, very low right now. We'll have to see how that progresses throughout the day. In fact, let me get a little bit lower. Let me go to a 5-minute time frame. And you can see that volume has been dropping throughout the day. So already, and we're not even half an hour in. So hopefully we see some volume come up here very soon. Otherwise, that's not going to look great for CleanSpark going into the end of the day and potentially later into the week. So let's have a look-see at the SMAs. Where are we on the SMAs for CleanSpark right now? So right now we're outside of that squeeze territory, which happened, at the top here, and then we dropped dramatically. Hopefully we start seeing a squeeze on the bottom and we come back up. But for the moment, we are seeing, let me turn off my drawings for a second. We are seeing that we are right on the 5-day moving average. It is curling over here, and we need to get back up and above this 50-day moving average at 1667. And that's where we get into trouble in between the 50 and the 20, unless I changed it back. Yeah, it's on the 20, the 50 and the 20 here. We need to get, we'll get trapped in there more likely and create something of a bull flag once we get into this space here and then start moving back up from there. Let's take a look at some other ones. Let's see Bitfarms. Let's see with Bitfarms. They also had some good news. CleanSpark for one, like we mentioned over the weekend, they have now 17 exahash that they are working with at CleanSpark, and Bitfarms also did an improvement of their exahash up to 7 just going into the weekend before all this bad news. And let's see how they're faring today. So today, let me turn on my drawings. We're still in the box. We're still in the box. We're at 182. We were as low as this morning. We opened up as low as 177. So that's not fantastic. We are getting trapped beneath the 20-day moving average here, which is at 189. We need to get back up and capture that sometime in the next 2 weeks here. Now we do have a squeeze going on while we are dropping. So that is a bit promising for Bitfarms that it could potentially come out of this explosively and move up into that maybe even 238 range here on the chart for Bitfarms. And that's really all I'm watching right now. I need to see it get up and above the 200, and from above the 200, once we start to see this squeeze release, because we are significantly oversold on the RSI, we could see a big explosive move, but we do need to have volume come in. We need to see a very big, like sustained volume move, like back here on February when we had just 3 days of increasing volume. We need to see something like that if that is going to happen on Bitfarms. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara is down almost 1% again. 1597. Mara is suffering. It is sitting right on the 200-day moving average. It needs to stay above that. Otherwise, we are coming down into the 14s, possibly even the 13s on Mara. I don't know what exactly is going on with Mara, but it is not having a good time right now. It is putting on a squeeze, though, as you can see with the plus signs here, and it is significantly oversold on the RSI. By the way, if you want this indicator that I have on my chart, it is in my bio. There's a link to a text document where you could copy and paste the code into your TradingView platform. For some reason, I've been having trouble publishing it. It keeps telling me that I can't. I think I need to pay or something, but I am a paid user of TradingView, so I'm not exactly sure why it won't let me publish a an indicator. I'm still working on figuring that out. If you've got any tips, that would be greatly welcomed in the comments, by the way. So let's take a look at Riot next real quick. Riot is also sucking real hard. It's down 1.54%. It is just dropping and dropping and dropping. We are at the very bottom of support. If we go any lower on Riot, we are likely to come down to about sub $7 level on Riot. It has broken this descending channel, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. That is gone. We now have this trend that doesn't even matter either. It's getting so far away from all of these things. We are on our last line of support here for Riot. Riot needs to turn around. Like, it must turn around, and if it does not, we are coming down to that $7 level on Riot, and that is pretty scary. I do still have some calls on Riot all the way out to 2026. I'm still holding them, though I may consider selling and buying them lower if Riot breaks that support, because it is going to be quite the drop, which would be a significant decrease in the value of those calls, and I could pick them up at a lower price if it breaks this support at 871. Then we'll be looking at $7 on that. And of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. That's just how I interpret these charts. So what's next? Bit Digital. We made a video about Bit Digital over the weekend. It was the wind moon, and today we opened up pretty bad. Actually, a minus 243. We are right now, as of now, we are below the megaphone. We're below the megaphone. We are slightly oversold on the RSI, and we are below the megaphone and dropping on Bit Digital. Again, right here, same like with Riot, we have our last line of defense at 197. That is our last line of defense for support. We get under that 197 mark, and we're coming all the way down to 155. That's what's going on there. So I'm going to make this yellow, and this is going to be red. Yeah, all the way down to that 155 area, which would be the bottom of this descending channel that we've been in for a little while here. And that's kind of scary and dramatic, but I plan on holding my Bit Digital. I think once these earnings come in, if they are profitable, I think that might turn this whole thing around on Bit Digital. So I'm watching it right now. We are slightly outside of the megaphone, but we've been here before. We were here for 4 or 5 days before, back in March, and we are there again now. And so it is a little scary, but it's not the end of the world. I am watching it. It needs to stay above this 197, though. Otherwise, we could very well flush all the way down to 155 outside of that megaphone, and that is pretty dramatic and pretty scary. So we need to make a turnaround. We are away from the 5-day, which is all the way up at 218. We're away from the 20, which is all the way at 239, and the 50 all the way up at 256. We got to battle through every single one of these before we can get back to a bullish trend on Bit Digital. So that it's a bit rough, which is why I made the wind moon over the weekend to kind of show like a little bit of hope of where this could potentially go when it turns around. But in order for it to turn around, it needs to battle through all these SMAs and get back up above that 285 level before we're really seeing some bullish action on this thing right now. Let's see. Let's take a look at CIFR today. It's been a little while since I looked at CIFR. I did cover that they were bought up big time by BlackRock last month. And let's see, we came to the 50 and we hit a stop, which This so happens to be the very bottom of this ascending trend line that I've had in here for quite a while on CIFR. So that's pretty exciting. Let me get rid of this. Boom. Yeah, we're right on that, right on the bottom of that the ascending channel there. This is a zone where we could very likely do a bit of a turnaround and start coming back up. We'll see. If it breaks the channel, we're going to come down to 334. If it doesn't, it has room to move up to 443, potentially even all the way up to $5. So that's pretty cool on CIFR. I am holding calls on CIFR right now after that news from BlackRock and seeing that it is kind of showing that this descending channel, these usually break, right? So these usually break to the upside. Like an ascending channel will break to the downside, a descending channel will break to the upside, usually, unless it's Tesla. Uh, but that's what we'll see there, and it'll come back up at some point. So that's what's going on with most of the miners today. Things are down on some, up on others. It's not like dramatic or super crazy or anything pretty bad. It seems like yesterday's news was a bump in the road. One stock, though, actually not just one, but a couple of stocks, but one in particular that has a lot of room to grow from this particular situation is Palantir. Now, as you probably know, Palantir does a lot of contracts with the military, specifically the U.S. military. I'm sure they would like to branch out from that and get more contracts with more militaries that they're allowed to sell to. So this is a situation where Palantir could potentially benefit from this scenario in that if there's an expansion of military spending coming out of Israel, they could be a potential customer, assuming that, and I am assuming so, that their software is working very well for our military and anywhere else that is applied. I mean, it's been growing like crazy. People seem to really enjoy it and like it, and seems to be pretty effective for the businesses that choose to use Palantir. Okay, long-winded way to just say Palantir could make money. Okay, the other one we're looking at today right now is actually Lockheed Martin. I brought this up before all the way back here on January 25th, and I said back then I had a bottom signal on it. It was actually over here, sorry, not January 25th, February 1st. We got a bottom signal on it, and it went a bit lower for about another 2 weeks and then just rocketed up. Now, what is this forming now? It's forming a cup and handle, man. This is a cup and handle. Look at this thing. We got our cup right here. Woo. We got this handle right there, and we're getting the breakout right here. That is a cup and handle on Lockheed Martin. All this conflict that seems to be brewing seems to have gotten Lockheed Martin all excited. And some of these drops were due to the Department of Defense in the United States reducing its budget, which it almost never does, which is why we got this big flush out here in February. And since then, though, this thing has been just on a tear. So I've been watching this one for a while. I've been watching it since February. I really should have gotten in back here. But right now, I'm seeing a cup and handle pattern right here. And we're breaking out. We're breaking out of that cup and handle pattern. Honestly, if this stock gets above, if it must break this line, if it gets above right here, 459.13, gets above that, I'd be looking at a move potentially up to, let's see here. Let's see left, what's going on up here. I'd be looking at a move. Well, one, I'd be looking here, 466. That's not a very big move, but like that's very, very likely to happen if we get there. But next move, really what I'd be looking for is a move up to about here, about 472. So I'd be looking for a move from 460 to 472. That'd be about a $20 move on this stock. That's what I'd be looking for if this cup and handle confirms. Now, it's working on it right now. It is outside of the handle. I would like to see it stay above 457, preferably outside of this descending channel I've got here at 459. So I would be waiting for this to break above 459, hold above that for a day or two, and then I'd be looking for movement up to that 472 level. 466 first, and then 472, 473 on this stock is what I'd be looking at very closely. Now let's see what's the volume profile on this. Ooh, we're right above that shelf, huh? That was a big one to get through. We're above that now. I don't really see anything above this other than clear skies. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. That kind of a move once it gets there. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.